The Injen PowerFlow cold air intake is perfect for the 2015 and newer 3.5 EcoBoost F-150 owner who wants to make their truck more exciting to drive. Not only is this going to make your truck sound better, but you should get some additional power as well, all in one easy, clever bolt-on package. Now, cold air intakes are a dime a dozen, but the PowerFlow is not your typical intake. The chief engineering directive here is to keep intake air temperatures down while increasing overall airflow. Now, starting with these filters, your single stock filter is replaced with these twin cone filters. These are 7 inches tall and thus give you a lot more overall surface area than your factory unit, so they can flow much more air, which is part of the key to this whole system. Now, these are dry filters as well and feature Injen's own super nano web technology. This is a unique multi-layer media with a nano membrane on the outer layer, so you don't have to contend with oil. It's got nice deep pleats to help trap dirt and debris, and again, since this is a dry design, there's no oil to worry about either. You can just blow this out with some compressed air and you're ready to roll again. These filters are encapsulated with a unique heat shield that is designed to keep hot ambient air in your engine bay away from the filters so they can pull in cooler air from outside of your truck. Now, the heat shield walls them off and you get lots of thick weather stripping for all the edges as well as for the ports for the intake tubes, again, to help keep out as much heat as possible without restricting airflow. Now, all that is going to feed into the PowerFlow's unique merge collector tube. While this thing looks a little bit like a pretzel, it is not soft and tasty. Instead of 2 diverging or completely separate tubes feeding the turbos, this setup is designed to merge the incoming air through these tubes and equalize it right here in this central chamber before it reaches the turbos via the 3.5-inch diameter tubing. So the velocity, pressure, and temperature of that incoming air are the same no matter which bank is pulling it. Now, you're going to find equal length runners here as well to help make that happen, and the fact that this is one solid piece that is pretty much wide open in the center is going to give you quite a bit more turbo noise too, which is always my favorite part of installing a cold air intake, especially on the EcoBoost motors. And the fact that this one is race blue also helps since it looks cool and it gives you a nice pop of color when you open the hood. Now, more airflow means that this should give you some additional power as well. Since there are less restrictions in the system and is physically flowing more air, the engine can compensate and give you a little bit more oomph, and it should respond better as well. Now, as always with a bolt-on breather mod like an intake, we're not talking about huge overall gains here. Injen claims about 10 horsepower and 10 pound-feet of torque, but your results may vary depending on what you've got done to your truck and the conditions under which you are driving. And while you don't need a tune in order to fit this and have it work properly on your truck, if you want to take full advantage of the potential benefits, you should think about getting a tuning module or even a custom tune. The heat shield here is made from steel that has been powder coated wrinkle black for good looks and some additional protection against rust and corrosion. That cool intake tube is made from CAD designed cross-linked polyethylene, which is strong, it's lightweight, and it's designed to have better heat dissipation than traditional plastic or aluminum intake tubing. Again, all with the goal of keeping intake air temperatures down. The Super Nano Web filter has that multi-layer dry cotton media with progressive filtering and the nano membrane over top for some additional filtering capacity. So this is definitely a high quality setup. Plus, it comes with all the things you need to get it installed. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. Pricing comes in at about $575, and that puts this in the middle of the pack. Now, you are paying a premium here for the engineering that is baked in, but if you want something that is equal parts cool to look at and effective, then the PowerFlow is going to be your answer. It's worth saving a few extra pennies to grab this one. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about an hour to complete. Now, this is a pretty straightforward operation here. Everything is just going to bolt right into place. However, accessing that lower tube is a little bit tricky on these engines. Now, you will have to drill the intake tube for your intake air temperature sensor. Some trucks have it in different places, but Injen has different ports available and ready for you to drill it in, no matter where your truck is located. And again, you're only drilling that one hole and it's only going to be in the new tube, so there's no permanent modifications that need to be made to the truck itself. We're also going to walk you through the entire process right now, so with that, let's head on out to the shop and we'll show you how to do it.
For this install, you need a drill, a ratchet, a step bit that's able to drill a 3/4 inch hole, a socket extension, a 13, a 10, an 8, and a 7mm socket, a 5mm Allen socket, a trim clip removal tool, a 2.5mm Allen, and a pair of cutters. Today we're going to be installing a cold air intake on our F-150, but before we get into that, we need to watch a quick video of how to uninstall the old one.
First thing we're going to do is remove our inlet tube our airbox cover and our air filter. To do that, we're going to loosen up a couple of clamps, remove a connection for our air temperature sensor, and then we can go ahead and get this out of the way. First thing we're going to do is disconnect our air temperature sensor connector right here behind the inlet tube. And to do that, we're just going to push in on the release lever and pull it straight back. Next thing we're going to do is loosen up this clamp here that goes to the inlet tube on the passenger side using our 7mm socket. Now we can go ahead and disconnect the coolant hose right below that simply by pushing it out of the clip and just letting it hang there. Next thing we're going to do is loosen up this clamp here that goes to the driver's side turbo inlet. And unfortunately, it's a little difficult to get the camera in here to be able to see it because the screw itself is on the back side of this tube and it's on the bottom. So it's a little tough to see, but you use your 7mm socket as well and go ahead and loosen that clamp up. Now, once you've got that loose, we can go ahead and disconnect the airbox lid from the airbox. All right, now we're going to release these two clips here on the airbox lid simply by pushing them towards the front of the vehicle to release them. Once we've got that done, we can go ahead and just disconnect the hoses from the inlet tube here and go ahead and pull this out. Now we'll lift our air filter out. Now we can go ahead and remove this wiring harness here that's attached to the back of the airbox simply by pulling up on the clips and getting it out of the way.
Welcome back. Now that we have part of the air intake removed, there are two more things that we have to remove, which I'll show you here in a second. We have to remove these two clips. We're going to be using a trim clip removal tool. After that, we want to remove this bolt on the airbox. We're going to be using a 13mm socket, socket extension, and a ratchet. After that, we can remove the rest of our airbox. Now it's time to start assembling our new cold air intake. So first thing we need to do is we need to grab the weather stripping that is in the kit. We need to put it on our heat shield. So you'll see these two small pieces. They're gonna go in this hole and this hole right here. You have this long piece, which is gonna go on top. And then this slightly smaller long piece is gonna go on the side. From there, we need to cut off the excess. Then we're going to take this piece and insert it right there. I'm going to be using a pair of wire cutters. Next, we want to install our provided standoff stud. We're going to be using a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Now we need to drill a hole in our air intake tube. To do this, we're going to be using a step bit and a drill. The size hole you need to drill in this is a 3/4 inch. Next, we need to install our grommet. You want to make sure your arrow is pointing that way. Then we have 2 screws we are going to install with a 2.5mm Allen. Now we need to remove our air intake temperature sensor and transfer it over. So you just want to firmly grasp it and twist and pull out. Now we're going to install our air intake temperature sensor into our new air intake. Then we need to remove the driver's side radiator support bolt. We're going to be using a 13mm socket and a ratchet. Then we're going to install our heat shield. Then we want to take our provided Allen bolt and washer. We want to put it in this hole and connect it right there. To tighten that bolt down, we're going to be using a 5mm Allen socket and a ratchet. Then we're going to put our bolt back in for our radiator mount. We're going to be using a 13mm socket and a ratchet. Next, we want to install our silicone connector for our upper part of the air intake. You want to find the smallest hose clamp that's included in the kit, slide it on this side like that. We want to slide it over the upper part of the air intake. To tighten this hose clamp down, we're going to be using an 8mm socket, a socket extension, and a ratchet. After that, we want to install this silicone connector and another hose clamp onto the lower part of the air intake. Tighten down this hose clamp, we're going to be using an 8mm socket, a socket extension, and a ratchet. After that, it's time to install these rubber mounts for our air intake tube. We want to put them onto our heat shield. After that, we want to install our other 2 hose clamps, one for the upper and one for the lower. And once we've done that, we can install our air intake tube. Now it's time to install the air intake tube. We want to install it in the middle. We also want to make sure that this bracket lines up with these two studs. Then we want to put our nuts back on. We're going to tighten these two down with a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Now it's time to tighten down both our upper and lower hose clamp. For both of these, we're going to be using a 8mm socket, a socket extension, and a ratchet. After that, we want to install our air filters. We're going to be using a 8mm socket, a socket extension, and a ratchet for both of them. Lastly, we want to reinstall our air temperature sensor connector. We just clip it in. Alrighty, that about wraps up this review and install of the Injen PowerFlow cold air intake in race blue for a 2015 and up 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. Thank you for watching, and remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.